Hey, I'm holding Charlotte, so she might scream. Charlotte, can you say bye, Bitcoin? She doesn't really say anything yet. So just to quickly look at what we're seeing here. We got the breakout pretty much exactly as we expected, right? So I have Sol, T-Fuel, SXP, UTK. All trades are looking really good. Obviously, my other trades, all my longer-term trades and the ones we discussed last night where I've been buying, on the dips to the bottom, those are all doing exceptionally well. UTK specifically pushed up really hard all the way to that 99 EMA. Remember what I talked about. If we break into the cloud on these assets and close up there, we go to the top of the cloud, we're looking at a massive run. So in the case of UTK, we push into the cloud, and then this wick got rejected right at the 99 EMA, slightly above it, but right there. Now, that 99 EMA is also one of my key dynamic resistances, part of my Ichima model, as you guys know. Or at least, most people in the group. I'm going to share this update publicly on YouTube, so some of you guys aren't as familiar with my models. But in any case, so on last night's live stream with the private group, we talked about this exact setup. Now, we're getting a reset short-term on the hourly. The 4-hour, we're moving sideways on the Stoke. We talked about the 4-hour model not really giving us a viable model with which to predict the trends because we've been hyper bullish. When you're hyper bullish, you can't really utilize it. Lower time frames are helpful though. The hourly here resetting is gorgeous. We have almost a full reset on the Stoke, and we haven't come back down that far on the price action. We still have the main trend line support. Remember, all these trades I got into were really low risk because I had my stop loss 1.75% below my entry because I was able to buy right on this trend line support. Remember, my strategy we talked about last night where I identify strong trend lines and buy along those trend lines, you really couldn't lose money if you stuck to that strategy. You could have gotten into a lot more trades with a very tight stop loss, super low risk setups. In my case, I limited myself to 4 trades because I just didn't want to expose myself too much, but I'm obviously doing really well on those 4 trades, so I'm really happy with how the day is going right now. I expect this dip to continue a little bit longer, but the hourly model, we don't have the 4-hour, unfortunately, but based purely on the hourly model, there's a really solid chance we get a little bit more of a dip, and then we just rock it up to that next level. That's what I'm expecting. We have the same thing here, 222 EMA, key dynamic resistance, part of my Ichima model, with that resistance on T-Fuel, resulting in a dip. Same thing, strong trend line support. So I'm not even going to move my stop losses. I'm not going to take any profit. I'm going to let this ride. If we were to come back down and my newer trades, my 4 current short-term trades with a tight stop loss. Charlotte, I'm in the middle of recording a video, baby girl. You're the cutest baby in the whole wide world. So if those 4 trades were to dump, if they were to all come back down and I lost back all of my profit, it is what it is. I can exit, break even as long as I don't take a loss. That's all that really matters. But obviously I want to take some profits. So I'm expecting this next leg up. I'll be very happy about that. But I should point out, if we were to dump, if I were to lose back all that profit, if all of these trades were to come right back down to my original entry, at that point, what I would do is probably take some profit from my longer term positions. So my longer term bags, especially the ones where when BTC dips down to 30K, I've been accumulating on those dips, these longer term positions where I'm up a considerable amount. Some positions I'm not up that much. Some I'm actually down a little bit because I bought bags at like a higher price and then it went to a lower low, so I ended up overpaying. But overall, most of my trades, I have a decent profit. So I might take some profit at that point because remember, just larger scale, one of the things we've been talking about was this main resistance up at these levels is really the main target up here, kind of where this target is, right up around there. But every time we get to those highs, that top of that range on Bitcoin, we see the entire market correct, and we come back down and test the bottom again. If we break that range, the top of that range, just like I predicted this breakout, same exact setup, except instead of using the top of the cloud, because remember when we looked last night, in the live stream with the group, we talked about the 4-hour model and specifically the cloud. And I said, we are in this bullish formation with this bull flag. We're pushing up against the top of the cloud, key Ichima dynamic resistance, plus we had a trend line resistance. And once we break above that, we pump. That's exactly how it played out. We broke above it and we pumped. Similar situation. If you look at it longer term, we keep getting up to the top of this range up here. In the case of BTC, right up about 40K. Every time we've gotten back to the top of that range around 40K, we then correct and go back down to about 30K. With the most recent wick, we got down to 28.8. But overall, the 30K bottom, right? So if we were to push up again here, and then it were to correct, and I lose back all my profit on these short-term trades, I would probably take some profit in case we get a big dump down. Now, once we get all the way up to that 40K... Wait, Charlotte, hey. It's okay. I'm almost done. Once we get up to the top of that overall range, about 40K in BTC, all the alts have a similar range. Once we get to the top of those local highs, I will probably close all of my long-term positions and take all that profit. Then if we break through, I'll just buy back in. Because if we break through that high, the top of that range, we are going to pump extremely hard. But the probability is higher that we come back down from there. So I'm going to factor that pattern in, but we'll deal with it when we get there. That's obviously a ways off. For now, I'm focused on the more immediate, and based on the more immediate setups, I'm giving this hourly time to reset and come back down a little bit more. BTC, we haven't really seen the stoke come back down, so that's slightly concerning, but I'm still not concerned enough to sell my trades or take profit yet. I'm going to give it a little bit more time, and I'll do an update for the group in a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions in the meantime. Otherwise, stay tuned for an update.